today I was hoping to talk a little bit about sport specificity and what it means to train in a sport specific manner. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about this because people will sometimes say that it's stupid, and it's just not stupid. Like, it's how you should be training. The only reason why they would think it's stupid is because they just don't really understand what it is. So that's why I want to go into it, because it's just not stupid. So one of the most important aspects of training someone for a sport is having a look at their sport and looking at the physiological and biomechanical aspects of that sport. So what we're looking for is essentially what muscles they need to be training and in what movement patterns they need to be training those muscles. We also need to have a look at what energy systems they're working in their sport. And it's also really important to address common injury sites for that athlete and making sure that we're strengthening the areas around those joints and those muscles to make sure that we can prevent or limit an athlete's injuries. When we're talking about the physiological profile of a sport, what we're really looking at is what physical attributes an athlete needs to have in order to be successful in their sport. So, do they need to be flexible? Do they need to be explosive? Do they need to be agile? These are all things that we would address in their programming. And then as for their biomechanical profile, that's when we assess what positions they need to be strong in, what positions they need to be explosive from, what are the movement patterns in their sport, and how can we train the athlete in a way that will carry over to improving those movement patterns when they go to compete. We also need to look at what season the athlete is in. So most sports will have off-season, preseason. They'll be in season for like 4 months, and then they'll have some tournaments, and then that's it. That's also going to be really important for establishing the goals of their programming, because each season will have different goals depending on the athlete and their sport. And just like any program, a sport-specific program should be following the basic principles of strength and conditioning. So when you start working with a new athlete, you always want to build a foundational level of strength and cardio so that they can handle higher intensities of training as you progress them. You want to make sure you're following progressive overloads, so you're progressively increasing the intensity of their training and exposing their muscles to stimuli that they haven't yet experienced so that they can continue to grow and get stronger. And then you also want to follow the SAID principle, which is the specific adaptations to imposed demands principle, which basically just says that the goals of the training program are being met by the types of workouts that you're doing. So if you're trying to get stronger, you want to make sure you're working within the rep ranges that are for increasing strength. So the reps are going to be low, but the loads are going to be very heavy. So just general guidelines like that are also very important in a sport-specific program. A sport-specific program does not have to have every aspect of it resembling a specific sport movement or skill. It's basically just trying to make gains like everyone else in the gym in strength, cardio, conditioning, flexibility, agility, explosive power, etc. But in movement patterns and in the muscles that you are going to be using for your sport, and also to help you prevent injuries or limit the intensity of them or the severity of them.